G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. I'm going to be installing Nvidia on Linux Mint 19.1. I'm interested to see whether or not we have the option for the VSync in Nvidia after Nvidia is installed. So let's just go to Driver Manager. So recommended is 390 on this computer, on this Toshiba laptop with this crummy mobile GT745M. It doesn't really work anyway, but I'm going to give this one a go anyway and see how it goes. But I just want to see whether that option for VSync is anywhere in the settings. Hopefully there's no issues rebooting. Okay, so Nvidia is installed. I shall restart and see what awaits us on the other side. So here we are after reboot, and no issues with reboot at all. So we are now running Nvidia, and just to double check that, and Nvidia is running. There we go. And yes, we have a little Nvidia logo down the bottom there as well. So now we have Nvidia settings in the settings manager. So let's have a look at that. So sync to this display device, got an auto setting. Now this is the OpenGL settings. I never ever get that flipping option on this Nvidia card, never. So maybe with where were we? X server, no. Display configuration, so no. The X server X video settings. So sync to this display device. So I'm going to I'm going to check out. Let's just see whether we have any screen tearing or not. Doesn't appear to be. So let's go to Firefox and do a screen tearing test and see what's happening. And I have a heap of screen tearing in there. Okay, so looking around, I don't know if it was there before because I didn't probably see it, but in the settings and general, compositor options, now that may have been there, I didn't see it. Unselect if you're experiencing screen tearing in full screen mode. Okay, so it's unselected already, so that doesn't make any difference anyway. Still screen tearing. Okay. So we'll turn that off and restart Cinnamon. So yep, doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter anyway. The only thing I can try is the pipeline method, but I doubt whether that'll work as well. Intel power saving mode. So it gives you the option to, so we need to log in and so I will log in and log back out and see what happens. So I've ended up at the Arch Wiki and looking at the avoid screen tearing. Now I've run this command here and that's completely stopped the screen tearing. So apparently we need to put that in this document here. It must be added to the screen section of the xorg configuration file. So let's have a look here. That's maybe create the suggested one on the Arch Wiki. So we'll go to Etsy or what is it? Etsy, where was it? X11. Now we need a folder called xorg.conf.d. So create folder xorg.conf.d, and we need to create new document called 20-nvidia.conf. Now definitely this force pipeline worked when I put that command into the terminal just to try it out, just to test it. That's all that was. You can use that command to test it, and that reduced the that had no screen tearing at all. So but I've done a bit more reading on the Arch Wiki, and I probably should have read a little bit more further in depth. What I'm reading here is many of the configuration options produced in 20-nvidia.conf by using Nvidia-xconfig are set automatically by the driver and are not needed. To only use this file for enabling composition pipeline, only the section screen containing lines with values of identifier and option are necessary. Other sections may be removed from this file. So the section screen and identifier and option, that's all you need. That one and possibly those two, those three. And I would have to say that that's why I'm getting some conflicts, because I did get another black screen again, so I had to remove the Nvidia, the 20 Nvidia config file. So Etsy X11 xorg.conf, I've removed that and I was able to get back in again. So what we're going to do again is create open as root, new document called 20-nvidia.conf, and hopefully this time that's all we need. So I'm going to copy this stuff from here because that's all we need. So what we need to do is have a look at this Nvidia, what this thing saves. We just want the section screen. So let's have a look. Let's copy that. Just want to see what that looks like. Just make sure we're not causing any major issues there. So that's the same. It's got monitor. So I really want to take that out. Monitor. identifier as well, so we want to take that out as well. Option and option. Save that, and hopefully there's no conflicts now. Whether I'll close that without saving anyway. Option, 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 and identifier. Okay. So I'm going to try another restart and see what happens. Okay, this time I am happy to report a successful boot with that file in place. So that seems to have worked out pretty well. I am getting some strange artifacts, not anymore. I was before, but that's fine. Now I need to check whether that has reduced my screen tearing. Because if it has, this is the first time I've really had Nvidia running on this machine successfully. So that would be a great achievement here. And I could probably even achieve the same thing in MX18. Screen tearing gone. Yes. All right, so that is a great success there, because I don't know whether, I think I've been doing it wrong all this time. So really I haven't, you know, you get told you must read, and I didn't read it properly, and maybe that was my problem in the past as well. So just to recap, I've only put this part in the file and only anything that says identifier and option. I took out monitor and I took out device, and that's it, and it's working. So normally the pipeline full composition thing has never worked for me, and probably because I've never really tried that way before, and I don't think I've ever, I'm not sure if I've read the Arch Wiki before on screen tearing. There's probably other places. So some things used to work before, but they don't work now. That's why I was stuck in this mindset and probably refused to read the Arch Wiki properly. And that just goes to show that, you know, over time things change. So you really got to read things properly. So that is a good success. I do hope that helps somebody out there. Now, there's no strange artifacts happening here. There was before, probably because I was halfway through. So I'm pretty happy with that result, and I'll run that for a while and see how we go. And just to, before I go, just to let you know which one I put it in, it was Etsy X11 xorg.conf.d and 20-nvidia.conf. It's in that file there. Sometimes it can be x11 xorg.conf, so a normal text document, xorg.conf, but in this occasion we've done it this way. That's worked out pretty well. So I hope that sort of helps somebody figure out some Nvidia problems, especially on Linux Mint and maybe Linux itself. So hopefully I can have this issue solved on a few other things, or a few other distros as well. Okay, so I had to use my laptop for something else, and so that meant I had to delete Linux Mint 19.1. So I've done a fresh install, and I've actually put the dconf back in place, which was the Etsy X11 xorg.conf.d and the 20-nvidia.conf file. which was that one I made up, and so I did that, and I still had screen tearing. So I opened up Nvidia settings, tried to copy or save the X configuration file. Then I had the black screen again and so forth. So I was wondering why did I have screen tearing after I'd solved it, and then all of a sudden I did what I thought was correct and it didn't work. Well, the only thing that I knew that I hadn't done is this one here, is Intel. So I selected Intel, and once you do that, it'll tell you to log out. And then once you log out, down here you'll have the little Intel logo, which means it tells you you're running on Intel. And then I clicked on this again, and then I selected Nvidia. And then it will tell you to log out. So I logged out, logged back in, screen tearing gone. So that was very interesting. I don't know why it does that, but simply switching over to Intel and then from Intel back over to Nvidia got rid of my screen tearing. So it's not only that xorg.conf.d file with the 20-intel.conf file that does the job, but also logging out and selecting Intel, then logging out and then selecting Nvidia again is what's done the job. So I don't know why that makes any difference, but hey, it works. So that's a bit of an odd one, but that was a bit of a fluke, because I knew that was the only thing I didn't know, that I knew that I didn't do. So if anyone's having any issues in that area, then maybe give that a try. That may work for you. Right, so we're going to have a look at some login issues or troubleshooting if you're trying to get Nvidia running and you're messing with the files. Things can go wrong, and it's always handy to have or to know or have knowledge of how you can fix these things to get yourself back into a working operating system. So normally your operating system's there. The problem is that you're just not starting the graphical interface because of maybe a problem with the files itself that we've edited or added. So let's have a look here. We'll start up this Linux Mint 19.1 in VirtualBox. So if you get to your login screen and you come across a complete black screen, which can happen when you're installing Nvidia. If we have a look at a couple of pictures here, okay, so they're not going to be good quality, so sorry about that. Basically all you can see is me with the camera. But if you have a look up here, there's a little white cursor there, and I don't think it was even blinking. It's just a black screen. So this is Ferran OS I was running here, and I actually changed the file and added some extra stuff in it so it got a black screen. So I can actually simulate that on purpose. And then we got this one here, there's the cursor, so you got a complete black screen. So if that was to happen to you, then what you would do is you would hold Control, Alt and F2, and this is what you would get. Now if I go back to that screen, which I can by hitting Control, Alt, F7, you get back to this screen. Now just to look here, whatever this is here, that is your login name. So for this one, normally for me it's Colin. On this occasion I've made it PC TLC, and your name will always be all lowercase, just so you know what your login name is. So Control Alt F2, type your name, enter your password, and enter. Login incorrect. Right, what did I do? Oh, yeah, because I put my name, didn't I? I was just talking about that. I'm so used to typing my own name. Okay, so PC TLC and password. Hopefully I can get that right. Okay, so now when you see PC TLC at PC TLC-VirtualBox, the first part of that, the first PC TLC is my username, and at PC TLC-VirtualBox is the computer name, which you will see as that name if you're searching your computer on your home network. So now we are logged in. Now, what we can do, in my case, I would cd change directory, and I would /et and press the tab key to autocomplete, and then capital X and then tab again, because it's the only X there, I believe. And then if you can't remember the name of the next one, we can press enter, and then we can ls for list, and we're looking for xorg.conf.d. So let's just go to scale mode here, just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit clearer. Okay, so xorg.conf.d. So we change directory again to xorg and tab to autocomplete. That's the one we're after, and that's ls for list. Now there's your 20-nvidia.conf file. Now if we go sudo nano and we type 20 and press tab key, because it's the only thing there, and press enter, and it'll ask for our password, and you are back into that file. Now let's just say that you added some stuff in here that wasn't meant to be added. You can always delete it, and then you can Control O, the letter O, and then press enter to write it if you make any changes, and then you can press Control X to exit, and we're back on to the terminal there. Now let's just say that you made some changes and you start up and you get to the black screen again. Well, the best thing you can do is RM, which means remove. We need sudo for that. Sudo RM, type 20 and then tab key to autocomplete. It's the only file there. Then you can press enter and you can remove that file. So we'll press enter on that, and then we'll list and have a look back inside of that. And as you'll see, it hasn't listed anything because I've removed that file. Now when you start back up, you should be able to get back into your screen and then possibly do it again, opening Nemo as root and adjusting your file in the GUI if that's the best way you like to do it. So and then you can probably just keep a copy of this file somewhere in your documents, so you can copy and paste from that, or just copy and paste that file under open as root, of course, and then you can try again. Now a situation where this may arise is, just as an example, I installed Ferran OS on my Toshiba laptop. Now, Ferran OS actually installed Nvidia through, and it was already installed after install. So when I started it up, I got the black screen. Now, when I got the black screen, Let's just sudo reboot this one, or sudo reboot that. Now, when I got the black screen with Ferrin OS after installing, I couldn't get back into, and that was a fresh install, so I couldn't even get into my first boot because it's already installed Nvidia. I don't know whether it's supposed to or not on install, but it actually did, and Nvidia was there. That's why it wouldn't start. I couldn't get to the boot screen, so what I did was Control F2. So you got to log in first, PC TLC. Sorry, I forgot about that. Log into that, and then we password. Now we're logged in, and then I went Start X, and then that got me into a working operating system, like you'll see. And then I was able to actually fix my problems. I actually, what I did was I actually installed. I changed the Nvidia driver, so that's what I did, and that was working fine. And then I added in the Nvidia, the 20-nvidia.conf, and screen tearing had gone. So I just thought it was worthwhile at the end of this video to just add some troubleshooting issues there in case somebody tries that out, especially with Nvidia, because it can be a bit annoying if things don't work. Then you can adjust it. Now, I always suggest do a search online if you're having issues, or even just make sure you're doing the absolute right thing. And even in, what can I say, do some homework and some research before you go ahead and do Nvidia drivers. But worst case scenario, if you install Nvidia and it doesn't work, you can try the Start X, and that may get you back in, and you can put it back onto the Nouveau drivers, not sure how you say that. And then you should be right to go until you figure out what the issue is. So I thought that was just worthwhile showing everybody there how that works. So we've put that back to normal. So that is troubleshooting Nvidia drivers on boot up in case you get a black screen. So I hope you found this video interesting, and I hope it helps somebody, and thank you for watching.